Wild Willie here, back again. Been a minute. I spend a lot of time thinking about free will and predestiny. Like I think about those things a lot. I thought about those things a lot for the past couple years. And what happened was I started to think that there was no such thing as free will, and everything was predetermined. I started to think that because when you really break down all the circumstantial factors of your life, like the family you were born into, where you were born, like your personality, your temperament, which is largely shaped by when you were born. You might not believe in astrology, but zodiacs do have a huge influence on your personality and your temperament, like which will shape the choices you will make inherently. You start thinking about all these factors, and you really can't see. I really couldn't see alternate options for myself. Even when I would go back in my own history, my own timeline, I would think about choices that I made. I made those choices because I only possessed certain knowledge. I wasn't able to make an alternate choice because I only possessed limited knowledge. And then as I got older, I gained more knowledge, and I go back and I examine those times when I made choices that shaped my outcome. I still couldn't even see myself with the knowledge that I had gained, from the present, looking back at the past. I couldn't see myself making an alternate choice. And so I really started to believe that we are just programs. We're just a program, and I have my design. All programs have their designs, right? And the jobs they're supposed to carry out. And I really started to see myself as just running my program, not having free will. And I really started to see free will as an illusion of my life. And in a sense, it was freeing because when you look for meaning in things that you can't find meaning for, like difficult ideas and difficult things like suffering, suffering is really difficult to understand and comprehend. Why do these people suffer? Why are these things happening? Why do these people over here have no food and stuff like that? Or why does this person's life so bad? Why is my life so bad? You can't understand these things. And so if it's all predetermined, it will take you back because you're looking at history, right? Why did this happen? Why is it happening? It's happening because something influenced its outcome before. And so it's like it really is a temporal chain when you look at it. And it goes back to predetermined life paths, predetermined life plans. I've heard on YouTube people use the term life plans, and I do believe that. I do believe that before this form was birthed into existence, the intelligence that embodies this form chose a specific life path and a life plan or program to run on in order that the intelligence that embodies this form can increase itself. Like the intelligence that embodies this form is running a specific program so it can grow and it can expand and then be birthed into a new form with greater intelligence afterwards, a form that will match the intelligence it's gained. Like I really started to see as I was reflecting on predetermination over the past year, 2 years, I really started to see that the whole purpose of my life and presumably everybody else's lives is to gain intelligence because the universe is intelligence and it's matter, right? And when the two come together, you have life forms. And so that's what I really started to see. But just recently, in the past month, I started to believe in free will. I didn't believe in free will over the past 2 years, and I think part of it was a game like that I was playing. Because if free will is not an option for me to believe in, right? Free will doesn't exist. Then I have to carry out and explore and find the limits of predestiny, right? And I did. It started before birth, and it probably started before that, and it can go on forever, right? But that was good enough for me because that gave me an explanation for why my life was the way it was, right? Right? But so as I satisfied that, now I started to unlock this what is the potential of free will, right? And I think I've done that. And so I didn't used to believe in free will for the past 2 years, but as the last month or so has gone by, I believe in free will now, but I also believe in predestiny. And so what I think happens is that there is a predetermined life plan that all of us have. We all have come here with predetermined factors, like why were you born in the family you were born in and not another family, right? You can't change that. That's predetermined. That's going to shape many things about your life. If you're born in a very rich, old money, political family, if you're born in the Kennedy family, you're positioned in a situation where you could become a political figure. I was not born in that family. I'm not positioned in a place where that can be a reality for me. In a sense, that's predestined. I was born to janitor parents, and I am a janitor, right? Like, that kind of shapes the direction of my life, right? How many siblings you had, all that stuff matters. But I don't remember maybe it was the past year, and maybe I'll do an anecdote of my past year for you all. I have been working on trying to become a mental health therapist, a marriage and family therapist. And so the first year of the program was just online coursework. You just read articles, you write papers. Really simple stuff, easy stuff. And I was a janitor while I was doing this. After a year, it came time for me to try to get an internship to become a counselor. You have to get an internship. So the things that happened in my life led me to step away from my janitorial accounts. I had very good janitorial cleaning accounts. They allowed me the time to do my college work, see my kid, and do the work, like do the homework, right? I could do that. I was looking around for sites, and I had an opportunity to work at this site in town. And they said, we can get you in a paid position. We can give you everything you want so you can meet your family obligations. And, we'll pay you, basically what you're making cleaning. And I was thinking, okay, it's time for me to step away from my janitorial accounts and do this opportunity. What happened was they promised me all these things. They said I was going to get it. I didn't get it. And I found out the week before I was supposed to start, I didn't get it. So I was left without a job, without an internship site, and the direction or pathway of my college degree was kind of in question, Because if you don't get a site, you can't do the clinical pathway. You can't get licensure. You can't be a counselor. You can't call yourself a counselor, right? So, okay, what am I going to do? I don't know. The people that said, and the college said, get another internship. I said, okay, I'll get a job. I looked online. I found a couple jobs. Driving. I was a driver before too. So I started driving. And I got another internship site. And I said, look, if I'm going to keep doing this, I need to get loans from the college. I need to get loans because I can't do it on 1 day a week wages. I can't do it 2 days a week wages, watching my son and doing the internship requirements. I can't do it. So I got a bunch of loans, trying to make it work, right? I'm making these choices. I'm knocking on doors. I'm getting doors to open for me to try to make this thing happen, right? And so I get in the internship site, get the background check going, pass the background check. Things are happening. Things are moving. I start working under the supervision of somebody. It's not working. It is not working at all. It's stupefying. The things that were happening were so stupefying. Like, I can't understand them. I can't explain them to you. But it just was not working. The supervision arrangement fell apart. I lost another internship site. Like, okay, I'm going to passively look for more internship sites. I'm going to start driving more for my job. I'm just going to start working more and just do the coursework in the evenings, right? Because you still have to take reading and writing courses, right? So I'm passively looking. I think I contact 6 or 7 sites. Closed doors, closed doors, closed doors, closed doors, closed doors, right? I'm going for one more site, 2 more sites. One, I'm surely going to get an interview at this site. Another site, I didn't think I was even going to get an interview, and I got an interview. So I was hanging on. The site I interviewed at, didn't get it. The site I was hanging on for an interview at, didn't even get an interview. I made a choice. I said, I'm not a counselor. This is not in my predestined life plan for me to be a counselor right now at this time in my timeline. This is not part of my path. So the next day, my old boss for one of my big cleaning contracts calls me. She says, "You still cleaning?" And I say, "Yes." And she says, we want your bid. We want your bid. So this has kind of all been happening for me, and this has kind of been putting into perspective my thoughts on free will and predestiny. Like, I believe me being a counselor is not part of my life plan right now, but I made choices out of my own free will to make it happen. And in doing so, I separated myself away from my life path, my predetermined life path, which at the time being is apparently to be a janitor, okay? So I exercised my free will and I moved away from my predetermined life path, and they got harder. They just started to get harder. I started working this job where I had to work 12 hours a week, driving the Greyhound bus. It was really stressful. Come home at night, can't eat dinner because your stomach slows down, and you eat a bunch anyways, and you just feel sick, lay awake all night, feel your food undigested in your stomach. Like so much stress, feel my heart hurt, just trying to do this thing. My life just started to get so hard. It started to get harder. I was moving away from that predetermined path. But this is the thing that's really cemented in me just in the past couple days, thinking about all this stuff and really understanding that free will does exist in addition to predestiny. Because while I was doing this job, a life started to form in this job. Somebody quit. They hired a new person, and it was a woman, and she was close to me in age, and it seemed like we could have been a compatible match for a relationship. It seemed like there was a soul contract in there. It seemed like there was an opportunity opening up for me in that position to step into kind of a newer role that embodied more of who I am as a person and the strengths I inherently have aside from just driving. And I started to see this unfolding for me. And as I started to step into that world that was being created for me, that was separate and kind of deviated away from maybe my predetermined life path, I started to see that while there was some force in the universe, God was making a way for me in this world that was not part of my predetermined life path. I saw that I wasn't going to be as happy in that fabricated life as I probably would be in the life that was predetermined for me. And so what I started to really see was that even if we deviate by use of our free will away from our predetermined life paths, God still loves us so much, and the universe loves us so much that they will even make a way for us in a place that maybe is a good fit, but maybe is not the best fit for you. Being a counselor right now is not even in the question. Being a driver and potentially having a life in there, stepping into some type of role, maybe having a relationship, maybe having a life, could be satisfying, but not as satisfying as what the universe has prepared for me. And so I listen to a lot of YouTube videos now with Joe Dispenza. I just found one, Tony Robbins, and they're talking about isolation before the breakthrough. And they're talking about basically that God prepares you before he gives you the gifts that you need in order to fulfill your destiny. See, they're talking about the same things. You know, it's kind of become clear to me that surrendering to the universe will allow you to unlock the potential of what is there for you and what has been prepared for you, right? And I mean, I can make a life for myself, and the universe will help create that, because I didn't bring that person, that woman into the job, right? I didn't bring her in there. The universe brought her there. She applied for the job. It could have worked, but ultimately I don't think it would have made me as happy as the life path that I chose before I came here. I think that's more suited. It's not easy, okay? It's not easy. That's not what I'm saying. Your predetermined life path is not easy. It's not going to be any easier than the own life you can create yourself. But I think there's going to be more satisfaction in the life that's been prepared for you, because it's more in line with the predetermined aspects of yourself and the form that is birthed into this reality. And it's just easier. It's easier. I don't have to look for a job. The job that's meant for me will come to me. And so I just think it's incredible. I think it's incredible that while I can try to make something work and make something happen, and it's either going to happen or it isn't going to happen, and something could be birthed in the process of that could work for my life, because I just think it's incredible. The universe and God, they love you so much that they'll allow you they'll help create a life for you, deviated away from your path. But ultimately, in me, I do believe that sticking to your own predetermined life path as close as possible is the best choice and the best option for you. Because why would we have it otherwise? Why would we have those otherwise? Why would they be there? Why do we pick them? And I know that's probably going to be a big jump for many people to think about, because they're saying, I have no memory of doing this. I don't believe in this. But if you really contemplate it long enough, you're pretty much a program or an intelligence or whatever, you're running your system. And that's kind of what it is. But I just wanted to share that with you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video exploring the difference between predestiny and free will. If you liked my video, hit the go button, subscribe to my channel. I'll try to keep making more videos for you all in the coming weeks. Thank you so much.